Good evening. Thanks very much for joining us on India Business Hour. I'm Shireen Bhanas. CNBC TV 18 had first reported in August and through September, the government has put together a Diwali gift for industry. This comes in the form of an expansion of the production-linked incentive scheme, adding 10 more sectors. The government hopes this will boost manufacturing and help get the economy back on track. Now, the expanded production-linked incentive scheme, as approved by the cabinet today, envisages a total outlay of nearly 1.5 lakh crore rupees over a 5-year period. This will take the total outlay under the PLI schemes to 2 lakh crore rupees. At 57,000 crore rupees, the automobile and auto component sectors are to get the lion's share of the outlay. The other sectors that will see PLI schemes being rolled out include white goods like air conditioners and LEDs, food products like ready-to-eat items, select steel products. Remember, the government has already notified the scheme for mobile manufacturing, active pharma ingredients and medical devices. What Cabinet has approved today is an umbrella scheme, and individual ministries have been asked to work out PLI schemes that will be specific to the sectors under their purview, and that exercise hopefully will be done within a month. The government expects these schemes to be rolled out before the end of this financial year. Listen into the Finance Minister.
One, Atmanirbharta. Two, making sure that India will be a part of the global value chain. And three, ensuring that critical sunrise sectors get the necessary support from the government so that we are able to build an India which is strong enough to service its own domestic market, but also making sure that we are able to link up with the global value chains.
So our objective is that all these schemes, we should be out with them in the next 45 days. We'll push them at very high speed now. That this basic concept of making, pushing for production-linked incentive has been approved. I think the rest of the detailing, we are almost there. So we should be able to push them very hard. Objective is that they will be starting this year and for the next 5 years as well. No more sectors. I think we should stick to these 10, ensure that India becomes a global champion in these 10. It's, once you achieve success in these 10, then we should think of any other sector. My belief is very clear that Cabinet has approved 10. Now they've thrown a challenge at the private sector. They've thrown a challenge at each one of us in the bureaucracy. Please deliver on these 10 sectors before you move to an 11th sector.
This was something that had been talked about for quite some time. The government will be coming out with a PLI scheme in more sectors, and they have delivered on that promise. Clearly, in terms of growing manufacturing, there is nothing that can be a bigger enabler than a PLI scheme. Truly believe that this is going to be an orbit-shifting initiative of Government of India.
You can catch my full conversation with Amitabh Kant and Pawan Goenka on the government's PLI schemes at 9:30 p.m. tonight. The stock markets cheered the cabinet decision to expand the production-linked incentive scheme to 10 more sectors, and that news sparked a smart rebound on the Lal Street, resulting in both the benchmark indices scaling record highs for the third day in a row. Anuj joins us now to wrap up the day's action. Anuj, the pre-Diwali rally has really found more steam, hasn't it?
Well, another record day for both the Sensex and the Nifty, and today the cash market volumes were very high. Banks, of course, are continuing to lead the market, but today the market move was more broad-based. At the index level, there were a lot of other sectors joining in. Pharma joined in, for example. Some of the IT stocks did well. FMCG joined in. So a lot of these stocks did well. A big trigger today was the MSCI factor, the fact that weight will go up for India and there will be incremental $5 billion of buying. We have seen $3 billion plus in a cash market this month already from FIIs. Imagine what another $5 billion could do. In terms of stocks, metals did well today. Tata Steel, Hindalco, JSW Steel. Then, of course, as I said, it's broad-based, so Axis, ITC, Infosys. The other notable feature of the market was that we ended at the highest point while Reliance ended at the lowest point. Reliance was down 4% and still the market was surging today. And, of course, Pharma joined in. So, names like Aurobindo Pharma, Apollo Hospitals, Lupin and Dr. Reddy's did well. All in all, once again, a day for the bulls. This really has been the biggest month of this year, and it looks like perhaps there's some more legs as far as this rally is concerned.
All right, Anuj, many thanks. That was the market action for the day. Now, the PLI schemes for 10 new sectors may not be the end of the government's Diwali gift. CNBC TV 18 learns the government may announce the next stimulus package before Diwali, which is 2 days away. Rituparna Bhuyan joins us now with details. Ritu, the likelihood of more measures being announced by the government pre-Diwali?
You know, all of us in the Delhi Bureau of CNBC TV 18 have been hearing about one more set of measures which is like to be announced. In fact, in many interviews with you also, senior government officials have indicated to that. The question was, when will these measures be announced? Now, the crux of these measures are likely to be on two fronts. One is sectoral, especially directed at sectors where interventions have not happened or limited interventions have happened. And secondly, giving some more relief towards employees, especially through relaxed EPFO-related norms. Now, today, senior sources have told us that the possibility of announcing those measures is very high before Diwali itself, which means that from now and Sunday, there may be announcements regarding this third stimulus package. Of course, we'll have to wait and see if that happens, firstly, and secondly, what will be the contours. But net-net, as we heard, it could be sector-specific, that is one, and secondly, also from the point of view of relaxed EPFO-related norms to benefit or give more cash in the hands.
Right about that, Ritu. In fact, I had tried to pin the Economic Affairs Secretary Tarun Bajaj down on giving us a timeline, and he said, well, I can't tell you whether it's going to be pre-Diwali or post-Diwali, but what he did say was that the government is working on measures. One of the specific measures could be that credit guarantee scheme that the government had announced. There is still 1 lakh crore pending there. And what the Economic Affairs Secretary had said, that there is a demand that this be given to vulnerable sectors that are not just MSMEs. And he did say that the government was working on bringing out those guidelines shortly. So perhaps this could also be one of the measures that the government may announce, because more or less the work has been done there. Ritu, appreciate you joining us. A quick check on the day's headlines that we're tracking this evening. Active COVID-19 cases in the country continue to fall for the 39th straight day, with a reduction of over 6,500 in the last 24 hours. Recoveries have crossed the 50,000 mark for the first time in 4 days. Daily tests have risen to 11.5 lakh. Delhi, meanwhile, records a single highest spike of 7,830 cases. The US continues to see record COVID hospitalizations with over 62,000 people admitted, while Russia reports its highest daily death figure at 432. In the Middle East, Iran reimposes a fresh lockdown with nightly curfews in Tehran and other cities. Russia says its COVID-19 vaccine Sputnik V has shown 92% efficacy in phase 3 clinical trials. The interim results are based on data from the first 16,000 trial participants to receive both shots of the 2-dose vaccine. The West Bengal government has scrapped pre-board exams for Class 10 and Class 12 students in schools affiliated to the State Education Board. Students can directly sit for their board examinations. US President-elect Joe Biden connects with key European leaders, thanking them for their congratulatory greetings on his victory. The phone conversations include German Chancellor Angela Merkel, French President Emmanuel Macron, UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson, and Irish Premier Martin. President Trump continues to call it a rigged election, refuses to concede defeat. Joe Biden says it's an embarrassment and will not help Trump's legacy as president. Trump reiterates he will win the election. Well, here's a CNBC TV 18 exclusive news break tonight. The Tata Steel stock soared in trade after news that we broke that the company is expecting to finalize the sale of its European business this week. Sources say the current frontrunner is Sweden's Saab. Nigel D'Souza, who broke that story, joins us now with more. Nigel, what are you picking up?
Well, that's right. Sources indicate to our team at CNBC TV 18 that Tata Steel could possibly be selling their European business, and the deal could be announced as soon as Friday. That's the day when they come out with the set of numbers. Remember, in fact, they've been looking to sell this asset for a while, but finally there appears there is some breakthrough, though we'll have to, look at the contours in terms of this particular deal. Who's the front runner? Well, Swedish firm Saab. They could be the front runners for this particular asset. Remember, it could be nearly around 12 to around 13 million tons in terms of a total capacity. Why is this positive? Well, it helps them because they're sitting on a debt of nearly around 1,05,000 crore rupees. So if some debt can go with the asset, then it'll be good news. The other factor is the European business has been burning cash for the last few years. So if it goes out of the business, then it helps the profitability. And finally, if the European business goes out of its books, then it helps them to focus on the core business or the more profitable business. That's the India business. So a tick mark, in fact, if it happens on all these three parameters, we'll have to stay tuned. But as of now, sources tell us that a deal is in the offing.
All right, Nigel, many thanks for joining us with that. Now, the central government has issued an order to bring online news and over-the-top platforms like Netflix and Amazon Prime under the ambit of the Information and Broadcasting Ministry. The order includes all online media and digital content, films and audiovisual programs, news and current affairs content. The Ministry of Information and Broadcasting will now be able to regulate policies related to the content on these platforms. Ashmit Kumar is here to explain the impact of this decision. Ashmit.
Well, clearly the government has made its intent quite clear. It is keen on regulating and plugging this regulatory blind spot, so to say. They've done this by essentially amending the allocation of rules, the allocation of business rules that has been amended. Now, this allocation of business rules broadly is a structure which defines the subjects on which individual ministries enjoy authority. And to that, the addition has been made. A subhead has been added under the Ministry of I&B called Digital or Online Media. And under that, there are two separate subheads which say Films and Audiovisual Programs, News and Current Affairs content. What that effectively means is that OTT platforms, the likes of Netflix, Amazon Prime, the likes of Disney Hotstar, all of them will now be brought within the purview of the Ministry of I&B. That's not it. Even digital news platforms will now have to submit to the authority of Ministry of I&B. Now, this does not seem to be an ad hoc decision. Let's keep in mind that there have been a number of legal challenges that have been thrown up with respect to perhaps possibly defamatory content that has hurt religious sentiments. And to plug that gap, in fact, there's also a PIL in the Supreme Court that raised the very same question of a regulatory black spot, so to speak. And subsequently, we understand that the government has decided to take this initiative in terms of plugging that loophole. Now, that's, of course, as far as online entertainment is concerned. With respect to news, let's keep in mind that at various points in time, the government has made known its discomfort with online news in terms of its spread, in terms of its reach. And in fact, in one of the cases, the Sudarshan TV case, where the Supreme Court was contemplating guidelines for mainstream media, there the government had filed an affidavit saying that digital media too needs a fair bit of regulation, just like mainstream media. So the first step being taken, but of course there is a lack of clarity in terms of the regulatory framework within which this will operate. That's of course something the government will have to clarify on. For now, the government taking the first step, bringing online digital content within the purview of the Ministry of I&B.
All right, Ashmit, many thanks for joining us. It's time now for us to head to a break. But up next, Nitish Kumar is on track to become Chief Minister of Bihar for the 4th time. That and more when we get back. Well, the NDA has managed to retain Bihar for 5 more years after winning 125 seats in an electoral battle that went right down to the wire. The Bharatiya Janata Party, which has played the role of a junior partner in the Bihar government, has scored more seats than Nitish Kumar's Janata Dal United. The JDU managed to win only 43 seats against the BJP's 74. Senior BJP leader Sushil Modi has, however, confirmed that Nitish Kumar will still remain the Chief Minister, as that was the commitment made. Tejasvi Yadav's RJD, which was leading a coalition of parties in the Grand Alliance, has emerged as the single largest party with 75 seats. Not just that, the party got a vote share of over 23%, the most in the state.
मैं विशेष रूप से अपने बिहार की महिलाओं, माताओं और बहनों का अभिनंदन करूंगा। उन्होंने जिस तरह से बड़ी संख्या में एनडीए को जिताया, अपनी इस विजय में हम शालीन हैं। क्या विपक्षी अपनी हार में गरिमा का आचरण प्रस्तुत नहीं कर सकते? जो उनके 110 सीटें आ रही हैं, वो भी तो ईवीएम से ही ना आ रही हैं। इसलिए अब इस तरह की बात करने का कोई मतलब नहीं है।
आप कोई भी प्रवक्ता से या किसी से भी इंटरव्यू लिए होंगे, सबों ने एक ही बात बोला होगा कि हम लोगों की एनडीए की सरकार बनेगी। इसमें कहीं कोई संदेह नहीं है और वही आज होने जा रहा है। इसमें कहाँ कोई अतिशयोक्ति तो है नहीं।
I'm thankful to the people of Bihar and Seemanchal that they have reposed faith in us, and will try our level best to live up to the expectations. I have the all the right to contest in elections, and elections people decide. It's not OAC or XYZ decided. End of the day, it is the people who are sovereign in deciding who they should vote for.
So that is the situation in Bihar, with Nitish Kumar all set to take the Chief Minister's position once again. Coal Minister Prahlad Joshi has said the next tranche of the auction for commercial mining of coal blocks will be held in January. 19 coal blocks, which could generate close to 7,000 crore rupees worth of revenue per year for states, went under the hammer recently. Our colleague Anshu Sharma caught up with the Coal Minister. Take a look.
Around for the 4 coal blocks, there is a single bid. We have made a provision in our reforms. If at all there is a single bid, to go for the auction immediately, there is a provision taking that price which is quoted as a discovered price. So that will come immediately. I think within a week or 15 days we are going for those 4 or 3 blocks which there is a single bid. It will be immediately. That I cannot call it as a next tranche of the commercial auction. For the next tranche of commercial auction, I think you may take a month or 45 days or maximum 2 months. We'll come out. Maybe in the January you can take it at.
Okay.
January there will be next tranche of the commercial coal block auction.
Okay. Now power is very essential to boost manufacturing and economy per se. What is Coal Ministry's view on that?
No, we are quite open. That's why this competitiveness we are trying to bring it. And as done in Power Ministry, we want to make it open. Now there are so many buckets as far as coal linkage, coal auction, coal allotment, all those things. Fuel supply agreement. अगर हम 90% से 80% से ज़्यादा करते तो हमको इंसेंटिव देना चाहिए, हम कम करते तो हम उनको कुछ कॉम्पेंसेट करना चाहिए, ये सब हम बंद कर रहे हैं. I have told the Power Ministry, requested rather Power Ministry, ये सब हम बंद करने जा रहा है.
Well, that is the Coal Minister. Now, the government of Chhattisgarh is all set to bring in a new law in the winter session to counter the changes made to the central labour law. Speaking to me earlier today, Chhattisgarh's Chief Minister Bhupesh Baghel confirmed the state government is set to bring in a new law to try and protect labourers. Take a look.
देखिए, भारत सरकार ने अभी जैसे 3 कृषि कानून उन्होंने लाए थे विपणन के लिए, और उसी के साथ साथ लेबर एक्ट में भी उन्होंने प्रभावित किए हैं, लेकिन अभी तक के गजट नोटिफिकेशन नहीं किया है. और गजट नोटिफिकेशन करने के साथ ही हमारे राज्यों में मजदूरों पे जो असर न पड़े, इस संदर्भ में हम लोग विंटर सेशन में हम लोग बिल लाएंगे.
Well, that is the Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh. After a 27% decline in two-wheeler registrations reported by FADA in the month of October, November looks poised to be a month that arrests the decline. On a yearly basis, auto dealers and OEMs expect November to bring back some traction in the commuter segment of two-wheelers, which forms about 75% of the total two-wheeler sales. However, with an important caveat. My colleague Alisha Sachdev, who's been speaking with dealers, has more on that. Alisha.
Now with Dhanteras and Diwali just around the corner, there is definitely buzz in the two-wheeler showroom I am standing in, and that gives you an indication that November is likely to see an improvement in registrations, not only sequentially but also on a yearly basis, which is important considering the 27% decline in registrations that two-wheelers saw in the month of October. But there will be 2 distinct trends that will emerge considering the region that we look at. Now for Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu, for instance, there has been a sharp uptick in demand in the festive season in October, but it's poised to increase further in November. And in fact, dealers in these regions have been experiencing severe supply constraints, which means that there is significant unfulfilled demand as well. The reasons for demand, even in the commuter segment, include factors such as lack of viable public transport options in major metros like Mumbai and Chennai. On the other hand, by contrast, the regions of central and northern India have seen a severe battering of demand in major commuter segments or the mass markets like Uttar Pradesh and Bihar because of factors of job losses, uncertain incomes, and therefore a lack of availability of finance. In fact, dealers in these states are saddled with inventory leading up to 55 to 60 days, and bookings that they would have expected, considering this kind of inventory buildup, have not come in. So therefore, we will see that demand will be lower considering the festive period taken all together from Navratri to Diwali. But November particularly will see improvement owing to the fact that the festivals of Dhanteras and Diwali fall in this month this year. What remains a concern, however, with dealers across the board is that what happens to demand after Diwali and the last 2 weeks of November, therefore will be critical to watch for signs of sustainable demand.
Yes, we will have to wait to see. Alisha, many thanks for joining us. With that, it is time for us to wrap up this edition of India Business Hour. Thanks very much for watching. Do stay tuned. The news will continue.